Hi, it's Darren from ProBlogger here. Today, as this video goes up on ProBlogger, it's the 6-year birthday of ProBlogger. Naomi Dunford emailed me last week to remind me of the birthday. I think she started blogging on my third birthday, so she remembers it every year. And she reminded me of it and offered to put a guest post up on that day, a birthday post, which will go up today also. But I also wanted to take a few moments out today just to reflect upon the 6 years of ProBlogger and the almost 8 years that I've been blogging. I started in 2002, I think it was in November. And I just wanted to reflect on some of the lessons that I learned and particularly how I'd go about it if I was starting out again today and what I would focus upon. And whilst what I'm going to share today isn't really rocket science, I think it's good to be reminded of these things, whether we're new bloggers or older bloggers. Because whilst we often know this stuff, we don't actually always do it. And I find myself in that category as well. There are times where I find myself doing stuff that I kind of know isn't really going to help my blogs to grow. But anyway, if I was to start out again today, there'd be 3 or 4 different things that I would be focusing upon. The first one is content. Now, that's a bit of a no-brainer in many ways. Of course, you'd be focusing upon content as a blogger. A blog's not a blog really without some kind of content, whether that be video or text or audio or images. But really, your blog's success hangs upon what you put up onto it. And as I've said many times on ProBloggers over the years, if it's not enhancing someone's life in some way, the chances are they're not going to come back again. That enhancement of their lives, solving problems, meeting needs in some way could be a big thing. It could be helping them to be a better dad or a mum, or helping them to learn something that will help their career. It could be big things like that, or it could be small things, giving them a chuckle, giving them a laugh, helping them to know that they're not the only person with a problem, giving them a sense of community, a place for them to connect with other people. These are problems that you can be solving with your content. Your content needs to be useful in some way. And really, I guess a lot of what I would be doing if I was starting out again today is identifying the problems that people have, needs that they have, and trying to work out how I can develop content that is meeting those needs on a daily basis. Just putting content on a blog that doesn't really mean anything, that doesn't actually help someone in some way, it's kind of empty. And as a result, most blogs that do that don't really reach the heights that they could. The second thing that I'd be putting a lot of time into, and I guess I did this particularly in the early days of my first blogs, was community. Helping people who come across your blog to feel like they're being noticed, feel like they're being heard, and giving them opportunities to meet other readers of your blog is just such a vitally important thing. People don't go online just to consume content anymore. They're actually going online to belong, and we're seeing this with the rise of Facebook and Twitter and social media. The popularity for many years now of forums and chat and all this web stuff that we're seeing, it's all about community, it's all about belonging. And this is what attracted me to blogs in the first place, is that 1, they would give me a voice, but 2, they would enable me to connect with real people who shared my passions and interests in life. And yeah, so I guess starting out again today and even tomorrow as I continue in my blogging, community is something that really I think needs to be a priority for us. Taking notice of your readers, valuing your readers' opinion, including that in some way, valuing that in a public way on your blog is really important. The third thing I guess I'd focus on, and this is something that I didn't really focus on that much for the first few years of my own blogging, is I call it, to keep the C theme running, the content community, I call it connection. Giving people connecting points for you. It's perhaps not the best word for it, but if we want to keep the C's rolling, then that's what we'll go with. But really it's about capturing people's email addresses, a place where you can continue to have that connection with them. It's about getting them to subscribe to your blog in some way. It's about connecting with them on Twitter or Facebook, wherever it might be that's relevant for your niche. This is so important. I look back on those early days of my first blogs where I didn't focus on this, and I think of all the tens and hundreds of thousands of readers that came through my blogs that I didn't actually offer them a way of an ongoing relationship. for many years I was just satisfied that people were reading it. And that's a great thing, but what if I could get those people back again, those hundreds of thousands of people who kind of just slipped through my fingers over the years and that didn't connect in some deeper way. Now many of them did, they went out of their way to find ways of connecting with me, and I'm grateful for that. But it was only in the last few years that I began to offer people newsletters or connection points on Twitter and Facebook and that type of thing. So whatever it might be for your niche that's a relevant way of communicating with them and connecting with them, go out of your way to find ways of connecting with them. Don't rely on other people going out of their way to connect with you. The fourth thing I'd say is again, keeping with C word, is cash. Is money, is it monetizing? Now, this isn't a goal for every blogger, but for me, as someone who after a year or two decided that I wanted this to be my way of making a living, I began to have to think about ways of monetizing my blogs, and really it's about sustainability. Now, if you're able to sustain your blogging in some other way and don't need to make money out of it, then that's fine. But for many of us, we want our blogs to at least break even. We want to be able to pay for the costs of the blog. We want to be able to pay for a nice new design or the hosting and that type of thing. And for many of us, we will actually want to make a living out of that as well. And I guess in this regard, I'd say experiment with different ways of monetizing your blogs. Many of us start out with AdSense or an ad network or Amazon's affiliate program, and these are great starting points. But don't just be satisfied with doing it in one way. Actually be constantly on the lookout for new ways of monetizing, and be on the lookout for ways that you can directly monetize, and you don't have to rely necessarily upon an ad network or some other third party to help you monetize your blog. Be thinking all along of, could I write an ebook? Could I run a course? Could I have a membership site? Could I sell myself as a consultant? Could I write a book? These types of things that you can more directly monetize your site also. And I guess the last thing I'd say, and it's not really a C thing at all, and it really comes down, incorporates in all of these different things, is actually do something that's worthwhile. I come across bloggers from time to time who create blogs that kind of they're just about making money, and they're not actually about contributing anything to the world that we live in. And whilst I kind of understand that on some levels, we all need to make a living, I kind of went through a phase where I did that myself. I had blogs that were just creating noise, and in the hope of getting a few readers from search engines and making a few dollars on the sides. And I actually found that to be a really empty process. Creating blogs that are just sort of spammy, adding random content onto the web may actually make you a few dollars, but make it your ultimate goal to contribute. If we're going to use the C word, perhaps it's contribute. Do something that makes a difference in this world. It strikes me increasingly as I do my own blogging that people are coming to read my stuff every day, and I'm helping them through my content, but perhaps there are ways that I can contribute and make the world a better place as I'm also doing that in different ways. Early next year I'm going to Tanzania with a charity to actually look at one of their projects and to capture the story of that in video and image, and to share it on my blogs. And whilst that's not really on topic in some ways, I kind of feel like as bloggers we have a responsibility to use the voices that we've been given, and to use the profile that we have and the credibility that perhaps we have, and to actually use it for good in some ways. And I think that's a responsibility for us as bloggers, and I'd love to see us as bloggers really take this more seriously. And for me, that's something that I want to do over the next few years in particular. So there are my 5 C's: content, community, connection, points of connection, cash, and contributing something of value to the world and the blogosphere. There's some of the, I guess, the lessons that I've learned, the things that I am wanting to inspire, re-inspire myself to continue to build on as I go forward into the next 6 or so years of ProBlogger. And I'd love to hear some of your feedback in comments below. Hope this has been of some value to you as you continue your own blogging.